Hey everybody, so I just got back from the range, did a 250 round session. Been meaning to get these guns out for a while. This one I've been shooting for a while. I finally got my slide back from Primary Machine, so it was cut for an RMR and nitrided, and I wanted to try out the trigger on my P-10C. So this is the Cajun Gunworks trigger, and as far as performance, didn't notice any difference. As far as I could tell, it feels a little more comfortable under my finger. I think it's better for people who use more of their finger to grab onto it as opposed to people that use the fingertip. So if you're someone that really gets your finger in there, you might like this trigger because it's rounded. What I noticed a lot of times with flat triggers is if you're hitting if the safety is right here in this nook, sometimes you won't depress it far enough. But I don't have that problem here. I can go all the way in and really pick in there, or I can do a more traditional kind of fingertip deal. But as far as performance, I didn't notice any difference. Accuracy felt the same. So just go with the one you like. At first I was concerned about that screw, but put some blue Loctite in there to lock it down, and it should be fine. So I don't see any problem with that. 1911s and lots of other guns have those in there anyway. So and the nice thing is it only affects the forward pre-travel. It doesn't affect the brake or the reset or any of that. So that's that. I did get to shoot my M&P 2.0. I've only shot it before with just iron sights. So again, sent to Primary Machine, had it nitrided and set in. As far as like milling the front, yeah, there's really not much you can do. Maybe if I sent it to ATEI, they could have done those top serrations, but because it's already kind of serrated with these half-ass serrations, there's really not too much you can do. As far as like press checking and stuff, I mean, I've got this big honking handle right here. There's really no reason to go up to the front, except just I do it out of habit. Yeah, I shot 100 rounds through that. Accuracy was fine. I still, even with the Apex forward set trigger, I still just don't shoot it as well as my Glock. So, and one thing I noticed that was kind of weird is it didn't happen while shooting, but I'm going to turn this up so you can see. All right, so I've got the flashlight pressed into the table, and I'm going to hold it as stable as I can, and watch the dot when I fire it. So I don't know if you can see it. See it shift to the left? I'll hold it as stable as I can here. So one more time. All right, so I'm just going to line it up with the front sight. And see how it shifted to the left there? That's not me moving the gun. That's the slide going like this. You can feel the wiggle in there. I noticed it just during dry fire. When you're actually shooting, you don't actually get that, but it was weird. So I also need to adjust my iron sight. You can see my iron sight is off to the right there, so I need to slide it over to the left to line up. But yeah, that went well. I just, for whatever reason, I can't. Maybe I just need to learn this trigger better, but I just didn't shoot it as well. Now, part of it could have been the comp, but I shot my P10 better too. So as far as this bad boy, this is my basically new EDC slide from Jagerwerks, nitrided. This is their Yeti package. I love the way they do these serrations here. So you can see that little nubbin that sticks out. When they mill this little shallow groove to get rid of all the markings, it leaves that little bit there, and there's just a ton of grip without being abrasive. I mean, this will never cut you or anything, but you can just grab the crap out of that. It's so nice. This is a Gen 3 RTF frame. The rough texture frame, the RTF2. And so a bunch of people are like, why would you even bother stippling an RTF frame? It's already like perfect out of the box. The reason I like the Gen 3 is I like the distance from here to the trigger. I like that long reach. The problem with Gen 3s is when you grind away the blocks, you end up making the grip slightly smaller. Same with at the front. Whereas with the RTF, the little spikes stick out of the frame. So when you grind them flat, this stays perfectly flush. So you don't lose any profile here. There's no step. So I sent it to MacDefense when I was at a class. He was there, so I handed him two of my frames. I also have one in FDE with a slightly different pattern. And I just said, I found a picture on Instagram that I really liked and said, do that to my gun. So he does the gas pedal cuts like on an agency, but he reverses it. He actually puts the stippling on the part where your thumb actually goes instead of below. And just the way it like follows this contour line, and just he did a great job, especially on these borders. I've tried my hand at borders and they look terrible, so I don't even bother with it. Got the mount, the scallop cut. I love a scallop cut Gen 3 way more than I like the Gen 4. Just something about the way that fits in there. It's just easier. Undercut, obviously. I've never had dual undercuts before. First time I felt that was on a Polymer 80 frame, and I really liked it. I didn't think it was that necessary. I honestly don't really get that much of a difference from having it, but it's just a value add, so it's there. But yeah, he did an amazing job. This is called sprinkles. I'm Asian, so I call it fried rice. But this is pretty aggressive. It's not too aggressive. It's not worse. It's about equal to what's on the M&P 2.0. Let me get my FD frame. So this is the brain matter, which is a little more carry friendly. And from what when he talked to me about is that this pattern maintains its texture longer than a lot of the more aggressive ones. They tend to wear down, or they'll get packed with dirt and dead skin. And he said this one, it's a little bit easier to carry as far as EDC. It's against bare skin, but it maintains its level longer. So yeah, the slide is at Jagerwerks. I'm getting a cut done from them, similar to what's on the Yeti. I just like to spread my stuff around. I like Jagerwerks and Jagerwerks kind of equally so. But yeah, this is my EDC now. This is my Gucci gun. I already had the gold barrel. That was a blem from Blacklist, so I got a deal on it. But I originally had this with a black comp on my Gen 4, and since this is a Gen 3 gun, I needed a Gen 3 comp, and all the black ones were out of stock, so all they had was gold, and I was like, well, shoot, I got a gold barrel, so why not? It's not like people see it in the holster anyway, so it's just kind of an accident that I have this now very Gucci'd out gun, but I freaking love it. Ran it today with 115 American Eagle, just weak range stuff, running a factory recoil spring, and no problem. Shooting one-handed, weak hand, no issues. Obviously, you get more performance out of the comp with more powerful ammo. I usually use 147, but I had 115, so anyway. Oh, and I got a pair of these. I got one in black, and black multicam and regular multicam because I'm a Reaper. No, it's what they had in stock on the Amazon store for G-code. So it holds about 300 rounds. These are pretty sweet. It's a lot easier than carrying boxes around. And one thing I like is they have this little pocket. So what I can do is I can just take the box of the ammo and just stick it in there, so I know what I was actually shooting. It's just a little tip, I guess. So anyway, G-code bang boxes, friggin' awesome. So if you have any questions about the primary machines, or primary machine or Jagerwerks, or whatever, drop me a line and I'll do my best to answer. Later.